Good morning. My name is Rachel. I am the Thrifty Crocheter, and today I've got two ponytails instead of one. I decided it needed to be a two-tail day, which is the first on this channel, I think. Anyway, aside from that, one of my subscribers likes to leave me other verses when I read the devotions, and I just absolutely love that. I love that. If I have this past year a whole sheet of them. And I was writing them down on little pieces of paper, and I had to write them all in one. And I've shared this before, but here are the newest ones, and I dare you to go look these up and read them yourself, because later I will be reading them aloud. Hebrews 10 verse 24, Proverbs chapter 27 verse 9, Mark 12:21, 2 Corinthians 11:3, Matthew 13:16, 1 John 3:17, that is 1 John chapter 3 verse 17. By the way, there is a first, second, there is a book of John, and then there's the books 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John. So there are 4 Johns. Well, books anyway. James chapter 3 verses 7 and 8, and Matthew chapter 12 verse 36. So, go read those and find out what they're all about. And I imagine there'll be some more after I get done with my devotions today. So, 365 days of kindness. Oh, today is Wednesday, August the 6th. I gotta put my calendar here. I have a perpetual calendar here beside me. And this is today's. Ooh, I'll have to try to do this later. Oop. Here was yesterday's. This is about 6 inch by 6 inch. So, I really like it. It's very pretty. It's a motif. I've said this like 1,000 times. That's probably the last time. I don't know if it's the last time I'll say it, but here are crochet stitches. Stitch a day perpetual calendar. Stitches and motifs. I think those are cool. I'm just if I show them and actually do them for you, it's just for fun. I'm not doing it as a tutorial. Not yet, anyway. Maybe next year. August the 6th. No condemnation. Absolutely no condemnation. Judge not, and you will not be judged. Condemn not, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Luke 6:37. It's easy to point fingers at other people's mistakes and faults. You know what? My minister, he talks about this quite often. And he said, even though you're pointing one finger to the other person, you still got other fingers pointing back at yourself. Think about that. See, you're pointing this way, you still got these fingers right here that are pointing back at your own self. Think about that. See, I'm thinking about it. You need to think about it. Just saying. Anyway, back to this. For some reason, we are oriented toward talking about what is wrong with people rather than what is right. Oh, and that's the truth. Oh, gosh. I'm going to read that again. For some reason, we are oriented toward talking about what is wrong with people rather than what is right. Trying to find the copyright. I know it's early. Yeah, 21. And this is still that way. Okay. If you have children, you might notice that you are more inclined to talk about their strengths and gifts. You will do anything to see the good in them and find ways to compliment them. You'll be more gracious toward their mistakes because you love them so much. You try to look at the context of why they did something wrong rather than assuming the worst of them. Friends, this is how God sees you. As His child, He sees the best in you, and His grace is never ending. Choose to see others through His eyes today. Act of kindness. Choose to have a judgment-free day. I like that. As a matter of fact, without trying to commercialize a certain gym, they have, at least in the one that I go to, and I'm sure it's probably also in other locations, they have a huge sign inside the gym that says judgment-free zone. And that's all I'm going to say about that particular purple colored gym sign. Judgment-free zone. Choose to have a judgment-free day. Yes. So hardly believe that. Have a judgment-free day. Daily guideposts. 365 devotions for grandmothers. Daily guideposts for grandmothers. Because I am a step-grandmother. Oh. Okay, my book doesn't want to open. There we go. August the 6th. Must you also muddy the rust with your feet? Ezekiel 34:18. It was a hot afternoon, and my 8-year-old son, Zeb, ran off to play with his friends, Mike and Devin. What walked into the kitchen a couple hours later was a body Zeb's size covered with mud. Oh my. In his ears, his nose, his hair, around his eyes. The stuff was all over him. Although my mouth dropped, dropped open. Oh, I can just see it. Words momentarily failed me. When I found my voice, I asked in amazement, "What did you do?" "Oh, we were just playing in some mud," Zeb answered with classic understatement. I wasn't sure if I should lecture him or laugh. So I drew him a bath instead, hoping the wisdom from an appropriate response would come to me soon. As the tub was filling, Zeb said, "Mike was in big trouble when his mom saw him." "What did she say?" I asked, feeling a kinship with Mike's mom. You get in here right now." I stifled a laugh as I found myself appreciating Mike's mom in a new way. Devin was being cared for by his grandma that day, and I asked how she had responded to that awful sight. Zeb smiled with the memory as he told me. She said, "Wow, you're a masterpiece." And suddenly, it was my heart's prayer that before he's fully grown, I'll be young enough to respond to my son's childhood as wisely and as lightly as Devin's grandma. At least occasionally. Father, please bless our parenting so that the children you've entrusted to us will grow from the love in our lectures and the lightness in our laughter. Ellen Bauman. That's pretty funny. I like that. I can imagine this poor kid is just covered from head to toe from playing in the mud. Oh, I don't know if I would be mad or like her. I wouldn't know whether to be mad and be lecturing him or to just laugh and say, "Here, let's go put you in the tub. Let me wash your clothes." Wow. All right. The illustrated words of Jesus for women. A daily devotional. August the 6th. Caring for basic needs. And I kind of framed, I mean, I had a frame, but I colored in the frame for the verse, and then I've added something down here. And the verse reads, I have compassion for these people. They have already been with me 3 days and have nothing to eat. I do not want to send them away hungry, or they may collapse on the way. Matthew 15:32. Jesus cares about the basic needs of your life, even something as basic as whether or not you are hungry. How can you concentrate on listening to Jesus or growing in your faith if you are really, truly hungry? Think about that. How can you concentrate on listening to Jesus or growing in your faith if you are really, truly hungry? Jesus wants those basic needs to be met. Of course, there are hungry and thirsty people around the world today. Why hasn't he Why doesn't he do something about that? He is, through his followers. How can you help? And then I added, Christ always saw to people's physical, emotional, and spiritual needs. Yes, he did. And then it ends with this verse. I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve that what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Romans 12, verses 1 and 2. Um, and then last but not least, our cross prayer square. This small swatch of yarn has been woven with prayers. As you hold this swatch in your hand, may you feel God's strength, love, and peace flow and know that he holds you in his hands. May God bless and comfort you in time of need and give you peace. Amen. Love y'all. Bye.